All right. Good afternoon, guys. Let me click a couple buttons here and make sure that we are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook, it looks like. And we are live on YouTube. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cool. All right. Well, hey, look, so last week, I had done a live where I went over kind of the top 10 things to do or to not do while you're working on your credit, while you're working on building your credit, or just in general, top 10 things to do or to not do while you're going through, around your credit in order to help it or hurt it. And to my surprise, I did half of the video seemingly on mute. So we're going to try that again today, and hopefully it will come out better. So if you are on, I definitely want you to give me a thumbs up if you hear this, if this works, okay? Um, and if not, then definitely let me know in the comments because I definitely don't want that to happen again. It was awkward to say the least, but even more so, it was disheartening because I had gone through probably 4 or 5 questions at that point, and no one could hear me. So that was great. But today it looks like we are going to be good. And let me just check something out here. Awesome. Okay, so today, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to, again, as always, kind of leave it open. Um, but I wanted to share a couple of the things that we had talked about the last time, and then I wanted to share a couple more um, because if you didn't see, I was on an interview, a really great interview podcast with a gentleman by the name of Ryan Sterling Scott. Amazing guy, runs a solid, top notch insurance company out in the Midwest, and he's doing some really cool things with this networking group that he invited me to, and so he invited me to jump on and um, go through this interview with him, and it was awesome. It just the whole thing from start to finish was very smooth, very polished, and we had so much fun with it. So within that interview, he asked me for a couple of tips and tricks. And so what I wanted to do today was kind of um, build upon that, so to speak, and add some more to it. And so today, I wanted to just quickly reiterate the first five that I went over in that interview, in case you missed that interview. And then I wanted to jump in and give you five, maybe six, might be a couple bonuses in there. Um, on others that I've since come up with and since come across rather. So with all due with um sorry, lost my train of thought there. So with without further ado, let me jump right in. So again, if you are jumping on, please let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're listening in from, watching in from, and definitely let me know if you have any questions at all because I definitely want to share as much as I can and answer as many questions as I can. Okay, awesome. Um, so let's do this with the first one. So the first question that we talked about, the first question that we talked about, it was, will adding a new credit card help or hurt my credit? I'll give you a couple of seconds. If you're watching the replay, you won't have gotten to the answer by now. So I'll give you a couple of seconds. For those who are live, feel free to jump in. Let me know what you think. Will adding a new credit card help or hurt my credit score? If I'm working on actively building it, will it help or hurt my credit score? Maybe I can, let's see. I'm still playing around with this. Give a little bit of music in the background. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. So a new credit card will actually temporarily cause your score to go down, but and the reason for that is because um you're adding an additional account that doesn't have history to a set of accounts that have a set average history. So if you have all of these 4 or 5 accounts and it's averaging 9 years, and then you add in a new account that has 0 years, you're gonna bring that average down temporarily until it increases, and then it'll catch up with the others over time. Um, and as it's doing that, as it's building age, as it's aging, um, it will continue. And if you use it properly, where you keep it below 30% utilization, ideally below 10% utilization, it will continue to help you more and more and more as the account ages, as you use it properly. And after 2 years, then the hard inquiry from the credit check that gained you the approval in order to get the credit card, it will also drop off. So that'll be a couple of extra points that it will continue to increase and it'll gain as well. So that's question number one. Question number two was, will getting a secured card help or hurt my credit score? All right, let's see here. Will having will getting a secured card help or hurt my credit score? So similarly to a new credit card, um, it will have a decrease because of the account age, but if you are just starting out and your account age is shallow to begin with, which is normally why when one of the circumstances when I would recommend a secured card, it's not going to matter anyway. So you have a better chance if your account or if your credit score is very, very shallow, meaning it's 6 to 8 months in age, it's going to go straight up. And it will still take time. You still have to learn how to use it properly, but it will go straight up. Let me do one thing real quick. I forgot that I was going to share this. Um, so yeah, so I hope that's helping. Um, for question number three, let's see, question number three will be question number three. Will paying off a collection help or hurt my credit score? What do y'all think? Help or hurt my credit score? So paying off a collection can be tricky. It can be tricky because while while it may be tempting, my rule of thumb is around $500. So if you have a collection that is less than $500, it's kind of up to you. I kind of leave it up to the client on whether or not they want to pay it off. After once it gets above $500, um, I would strongly recommend that we try and dispute it, even if it takes a couple of rounds. And here's why. If you look at the math and you look at the odds of being able to get it removed entirely versus the likelihood that it will get removed if you pay it off, it's actually better. It's more in your favor to get it disputed and save some of that money that you may or may not have to begin with versus spending it and still running a risk that they won't remove it or that they won't change it to a good status and a good standing status. Okay. But if you are going to run the risk and you're going to pay it, make sure, make absolutely sure that you get it in writing from a representative, and that representative is tied to the creditor, not or the collection agency, but you know that that person is legitimate, and you get it in writing that they will do one of two things: either they will remove it in its entirety to where it is gone, late payment history, the account itself, and any associated hard inquiries are removed in their entirety from any and all reporting credit bureaus, or they have to change it to a status that states that it's paid in full, not paid for less, but paid in full and paid as agreed. One of those two things, one of those two statuses, paid as agreed or paid in full. Otherwise, it will still show up as a delinquent account. Okay, that's the most important part. Doesn't matter the action of you paying it off or not. That's just their driver to keep coming after you. But whether or not it's on your account is all that you should worry about. And if it's in a delinquent status. So if you decide to, so yeah, so will paying off a collection help or hurt your credit score? It could actually be either. Right now, it's still hurting it. So you really don't have um you really don't have any risk in the game by disputing it. But if you pay it off and they don't remove it, then you have no choice but to dispute it. So hope that helps. Number four, will shopping for I love this one. Will shopping for a new car while working on building my credit score help or hurt my credit score? What do y'all think? Let me know. Let me know. All right. Let's see. Will shopping for a new car while working on building my credit score help or hurt my score? All right. Question of the day. Question of the day. So let's say you go out and you decide to shop for a new car and you know your credit score probably isn't where it needs to be. Maybe it's the low 600s, maybe it's mid 600s, 630, 640. But you're like, I also know that I want to buy a house in the near future. And I really should be working on that. But this cash back incentive looks really nice. And I think that I might be able to squeak by. So you go shopping. Durango, Toyota, Corolla, looking at the Kias. maybe even one of the lower, mid to lower end EVs, electric vehicles. Um, and you're talking to a sales guy, and he's really smooth, man. He's like, "Yeah, look, I can get you in. Don't worry about it. I can get you in." And you're like thinking in the back of your mind, "Well, my Credit Karma did say I have a 630, and he said I only need a 610." Again, these are all just example numbers. Don't take these as gospel. So he's like, "Come on in. Come on into the office. Let's see what we can do. See what we can put together with some numbers." And so you do. And so oops, hit the wrong button. So oops, just want to test something out. So as we're going through, um sorry about that. I just wanted to test some. I got a little bit of PTSD here. So as we are going through, and you're thinking, okay, well, I have certain scores in the back of my mind, and then good evening, thanks, or good afternoon, thanks for coming on in. Ask any questions that you have, and feel free to engage for sure. So we're just talking about being at an auto dealership, and you know, the question was, will shopping for a new car while working on building my credit score help or hurt my score? Okay, so yeah, so like I said, you're shopping around, you found something that might look pretty nice, talking to a dealer sales guy, and he says, "Come on in, let's take a look." And you're like, I don't know. And he's like, "No, it won't hurt. It's good. We're just gonna put it on paper, see what it looks like on paper." You start talking this, that, and the other, and he's like, "Well, you only for this price, you only need like a 610 to qualify, you know, or whatever it is." Long story short, he's like, "Hey, I could just run it, see what it is. If you qualify, you got a new car. If you don't, it's all good." Well, what he may or may not know, and what you may or may not know, especially not know if you're going to let him run that credit score, is that he may run it anywhere from 10 to 15, sometimes 20 times, and to try and get you the best deal possible. And on his side, he's trying to get you the best the best underwriting that's going to qualify you. Doesn't matter if it's the best deal or not, because he comes back and he's like, "Hey, I found one. It's only 23.5%. You're good." And well, so what's happening is when you leave there and you check that Credit Karma, all of a sudden you're down 100 points. And you're like, "Oh crap. What happened? I was just shopping. I didn't even mean to." Doesn't matter. 10, 15, 20 credit checks times 2 to 5 points apiece adds up quick. Adds up really quick. But now you're stuck. Now you may have been a couple points away from qualifying, or maybe 20, 30 points away from qualifying a few months out. Now you're more like 120, 150 points away from qualifying. So do not, if you have major goals, just like spending exorbitantly, if you're trying to save up for a down payment, do not go out and run your credit for every Tom, Dick, and Harry who thinks that they may be able to save you thousands on a new car or refinancing or a new furniture set or whatever that may require your credit being ran. Do not do it. I know it's tempting, but do not do it. Okay. So that's number 4. Number 5 is, will having a lot of accounts help or hurt my credit score? This one is iffy because if you have a lot of accounts, it's going to be harder or it's going to be easier to hurt yourself if you don't if you're not able to stay on top of them. On the other side, if you do know how to stay on top of them, having more accounts will actually make it easier and you can actually stay on top of them easier if you know how to because you're not going to run up those credit scores or those credit limits um, all at once, right? So um, the I think Equifax is it that says on average they recommend anywhere from 3 to 4 credit card accounts in addition to your others. So you may have a mortgage, you may have a car note, you may have a personal loan or two, student loans. All of those will count as accounts. And so those in addition to 3 or 4 credit cards is what's going to be optimal. Okay. All right. So that's our first 5. All right, cool. Hope y'all are sticking with me. Hope y'all are getting some value out of this. Please let me know if you are. And would definitely, if you need more insight into any of those questions, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to elaborate, wherever I need to. All right, number 6. Will removing negative items or hard inquiries help or hurt my credit score? I think we all know the answer to this, but the short answer is yes. It will most definitely help if you're able to remove a collection, if you're able to remove hard inquiries, if you're able to remove an eviction or a repossession. It's going to help you all day long. Now, how much I can't really say because it depends on a number of different factors and it depends on the statuses of the other accounts on your profiles. But I can definitely tell you that it's going to help in some capacity. Okay. Number 7, will paying off a maxed credit card help or hurt my credit score? This is a big one because I have seen so many times where lenders their first go to is to say, look, if you have any type of revolving debt on credit cards, pay it off. Pay it all the way off or pay it off to within 10%, 30%. And I would do that across the board and I would keep it there. You have to keep it there at least 45 days, if not 60 days, a full 2 cycles to make sure that it revolves at least once, if not twice, to make sure that those credit reports are fully updated and that they're going to update across all 3 credit bureaus. Okay. So, yes, most definitely pay those suckers off and keep them off. If you have to, I've seen everything from putting them in a bag of water and putting that bag of water in the freezer. I've seen where they put them in the lockbox, at the bank, if people still have those. Maybe a family safe at the house. Just do not keep them on your person. If you have that addiction, if you have that itch, keep them at home. Do not use them. Do not have them on you when you go shopping, when you go out running errands. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. All right, so that's number 7. Number 8, will reporting my rent payments through a third party tool or company help or hurt? All right, so I was interviewing for those of you who have been following me for a minute. If you recall the interview I did with Sam Frazier, the MLO from GFS Loans, we were talking about this back and forth a little bit, and we were saying, it could technically hurt your credit score, but as long as you are paying for your rent on a monthly basis, full in in full and on time, it can only help you. It can only help you. It may not help you in terms of the accounts that the lender is looking for, like if they're looking for past payment history on certain types of accounts, they may or may not take rent into consideration, but I can promise you that from a FICO credit building perspective, the program that I have has assured me that your credit score will go up on average of 40 points by using the program. Okay. So that's, if you want to take it as a plug, sure, I'll be more than happy to share that information. But I'm just saying, rent reporting in general, there are tons of programs out there. Make sure that you can get results, see results, documented results, and past, maybe even get a couple of references from past clients of theirs. I'm more than happy to share with you mine, but make sure that they will be able to show you at least something. And they're a dime a dozen. I can certainly share mine with you. Um, but I've seen, you know, that it can help more so than it can hurt, especially if you're staying on top of it. Okay. And number nine, this is kind of similar to number four, but will taking out a loan help or hurt my credit score? Now, this one is a little bit trickier than shopping for a new car, but will taking out a loan help or hurt my credit score? It depends on what the purpose of it is. If it's to buy a new bedroom set, do not do it. Please, for the love of goodness, do not do it. It's going to hurt you all day long. If you are taking out a loan to consolidate credit cards on your side, not through a third party company, but on your side, you're taking them out so that you can pay off credit cards, that might be able to help depending on your timeline, depending on how much time you can put forth to allow them to revolve. Um, but in general, if you're just taking out a loan, one, it's going to be a new account. Two, it's taking on additional debt. And three, I can tell you right now, most lender is not going to like it. um, so, and then last but not least, the number 10, will using credit repair help or hurt my credit score? $1 million question. Will using credit repair help or hurt my score? I have yet to see, little asterisk, when properly done, when properly utilized, and they stay on top of it alongside of my assistance. I have yet to see our program, our credit restoration, credit repair program, hurt a credit score more than it's helped. Now, disclaimer, I will say that I have seen where a credit score has gone down during the process of using our credit repair program. But with that being said, a lot of times it's due to either credit cards being used, new accounts being opened, people shopping for furniture sets, for cars, for other items that they probably already have 3 of at home. Um, Something having to do with utilizing their credit or a credit card or a line of credit. And so if you're staying on top of your finances, if you are not using credit or a line of credit, or you're not establishing new lines of credit, while we are actively working on removing negative items and going through the credit repair process, it is going to help your credit score if you have qualifying issues. If you're in a qualifying situation, I'll put it that way. Because if you don't have um, hard inquiries, if you don't have collections or delinquent accounts, or if you don't have late payment history, then a lot of times you may or may not need us. And all it is just a matter of setting you in the right direction, teaching you how to properly utilize credit cards, and that being that. Okay. So, with that being said, I wanted to share a little something that I've put together that I'm gonna start giving away during my lives. So I'm gonna put up a banner real quick. Bear with me because this is the first time that I've done this. But um, I'm gonna put up a link in this banner, and it will say, um, there you go. Okay, so see if this works. Let me know if that's working. Hopefully, oh, there we go. Cool. So, what I would like to give away, I've been studying a guy by the name of Alex Hermosi. For those of you who either own your own business um, or in a sales position, Alex is a great source of value, a great source of inspiration, and he can do a lot to help you figure out, how to help your clients more. But one of the things that I got from him was this notion that being able to help you, and this is something I've really always done. He's just allowed me to figure out a way to tangibly do this more. Is if I'm able to help you in every single capacity that I possibly can up front, then you will be more than likely to tell your friends and family who either may not have the time or the bandwidth, or who may just would rather a professional do it for them. Okay. So like I've said before and I say it again, under the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you as an American citizen have the right, as a citizen, you have the right to dispute anything and everything on your credit reports. You have a right to know how to properly utilize a credit card and how to use them to your advantage. And you have a right to know how to properly educate yourself on financial literacy and how to utilize it to the best of your ability to help you get ahead in life. And so I don't want anything that I have access to be a hindrance to you, to those of you who would rather do it yourself. So this ebook below, if you go to credit.dreamlifeinnovations.com/credit hyphen mastery, it will allow you to download this ebook that basically, in a nutshell, has everything that you need in order to fully repair and rebuild your own credit. Okay. Now, I will say, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you're not sure about something, please do still reach out. I will try my best to continue to help you. If you're not able to to pay essentially for the program that we have, um, because, and the reason I say to still reach out, because it is possible to hurt your own credit more so than where you're at currently if you do it by yourself. It is possible. Okay. If you go through the steps, it's less likely. If you go through the steps that's in this book, it's less likely, but it is still possible. Okay. So I can provide some guidance on that. Maybe that's another live that I'll do another day. But I just wanted to make sure that that was on record that it is possible. But if you are just looking for information, if you're looking for questions answered, if you're looking for just a couple of pieces to fill in the gaps, please download this book, read through it, ask me if you have any questions. and I will be more than happy to help you um, where I can. Okay. So, with that being said, I hope that you've gotten some value out of today. I look forward to talking more with you. I'm actually going to a credit boot camp all day tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to it. Be sure to follow along either on Dream Life Innovations or on my Instagram or on my personal page at Jordan A Bloomingdale. And I'm sure you'll get a lot of nuggets there. Um, but until then, I hope y'all have a great Friday. As always, it's a pleasure, and look forward to the next one. So have a good one.